Hello, today I want to talk about the living while black race hoax. So, what am I talking about when I talk about the living while black race hoax? So, this is a movement that was called the Living While Black movement that arose in, I want to say the earliest incidents were in early 2018. It was inspired by the Me Too movement. So it was allegedly about holding people in power accountable for their bigotry, for their discrimination against people based upon, race, against primarily black people and people of color. So, and it was inspired by the Me Too movement. So it was a movement that very much happened on social media. And the Living While Black movement in particular, as opposed to the Me Too movement, was about video. It was about camera phone video, and it was about capturing white people being abusive towards people of color, especially black people, in public, and capturing them on their camera phone allegedly, and holding them accountable on social media. So, what ended up happening is that people realized this evolved into, or quickly devolved into, a black trauma moral outrage industry. And it became something truly evil very quickly. And so what happened was people realized that they could make money, they could get acclaim, they could get jobs, they could get publicity, that they could really create entire careers by perpetrating living while black race hoaxes against, unsuspecting white people, especially white women in public. And so this quickly devolved into what I call woke KKK cancel culture and trial by Twitter. And it became about capturing snippets of camera phone video of white persons allegedly being racist in public against black persons who were just living their lives and doing nothing wrong. And especially it was about capturing white women, including myself at Yale, the Living or Napping While Black hate crime hoax at Yale, calling the police on a black person doing nothing wrong, like napping in a Yale dormitory common room, allegedly. So it quickly became something really evil and vile. And so it started with the Starbucks incident, and that was in Philadelphia, where two black men were arrested who were allegedly just sitting there waiting to have a meeting in a Starbucks. And then there was also the incident in Oakland with Barbecue Becky, where she allegedly called the police on an innocent family barbecuing in a park in Oakland. And then my incident at Yale, the Living or Napping While Black hate crime hoax at Yale, was the first real incident, I believe, that happened on a college campus. And what happened is that because there's essentially no anti-black racism on college campuses, especially elite institutions like Yale, so they realized that in order to justify their enormous DEI bureaucracies, and their, woke social justice activism, they had to perpetrate these living while black race hoaxes. So then there was this whole slew of living while black race hoaxes on college campuses, and there were copycats of the napping while black hate crime hoax that happened at Yale. And there was one at Smith College, and there was one at Columbia, and the list goes on and on. So also then the woke KKK fake news press realized that they could make a ton of money by destroying the lives of innocent nobodies, and they could hide behind New York Times v. Sullivan by pretending that these non-events were matters of that, if someone makes a TikTok video, that this is a matter of legitimate public interest. Makes a TikTok video of their little old white lady busybody neighbor who didn't like their Tigger flag. So, and then there was also the Black trauma moral outrage industry realized that they could make a ton of money by destroying the lives of private citizen nobodies. And in particular, the ACLU. The ACLU continues to this day to wage their campaign to drive me to suicide and destroy me, as does Yale, as does the entire woke KKK fake news press, including the New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, CNN, MSNBC, NBC News. The list just goes on and on. So, and then in academia, there is a thriving Get Sarah Brush Killed Black Trauma Moral Outrage industry in U.S. law schools and the humanities, but also, somewhat surprisingly, in science academia. And I'll do another video about why that is. So I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm going to wrap it up. I want to keep these videos nice and short, but that is what I'm referring to when I refer to the Living While Black race hoax. And the one other point that I want to make before I wrap it up is that the Democrats and the left, the political left, the political woke left, they realized that they could really use the Living While Black race hoax to demonize white women, and they could use this to smear Trump and to defeat Trump and also to gain political power. And so there was this proliferation of, by the Democrats, of the promulgation of these Karen acts. So these Karen Gone Wild videos, of course, were a big part of woke KKK cancel culture and trial by Twitter and social media. But also the Democrats promulgated grossly unconstitutional, it's a brazen new form of hate crime legislation, Karen acts across the U.S. In municipal and state legislatures, in San Francisco, in New York. In New York, they were so brazen about it that they actually referred to it, the legislators referred to it as the Amy Cooper Act. Of course, Amy Cooper was the victim of the Central Park Living While Black race hoax. So anyway, that is what I'm referring to when I refer to the Living While Black race hoax, and that is what I'm fighting against. Okay, stay tuned, and I will have more videos to come. Thank you.